Hello, and welcome to the 7th video in the Beginner's Python tutorial series. In this tutorial, we will learn about exceptions. If you find this video helpful, remember to smash like and subscribe since it helps my channel to grow, and without further ado, let's get started. If you have tried writing your own scripts before, you have almost certainly come across errors when you run them. There are two main types of errors in Python: syntax errors and exceptions. Syntax errors are essentially spelling mistakes, things such as forgetting to indent a line or spelling the name of a function incorrectly. The other type of error you may have received is an exception, and occurs when a program is syntactically correct but causes an error during execution. An example of this is a zero division error, which is caused by trying to divide a number by zero. To demonstrate this, here I have a blank script called exceptions.py, and in it I will say x is equal to 2 divided by 0. If I save the script now and run it, an error has been raised, and at the end you will see that it says zero division error. Another common type of error is the value error, which is called when we pass in inappropriate value into a function. To see this, I will try to convert input from the user into an integer using x is equal to int of input, enter a number. If I save the script, I'll clear the console and run this script using Python of exceptions.py. I can enter a number such as 35 and no errors are raised. However, if I enter a letter, you will see that a value error exception has been raised. In Python, we can write scripts that handle exceptions without returning an error. To do this, we use the try except block. First, the code underneath the try statement is run, and if no exceptions are raised, the except block will be completely skipped, and the program will simply continue. However, if an exception is raised in the try block, the program will immediately jump to the except block and skip whatever was below the exception. Let's take a look at an example. In the try block, I'll try to set x equal to 2 divided by 0, which as we saw will raise an error. Underneath this, I'll print a formatted string saying success. The result is, and then x. Now in the except block, I'll say print an exception was raised. Now I will save and run the script with Python of exception handling.py, and as we expect, an exception was raised is printed to the console. You will also notice that the print statement on the third line was never run, as the program immediately jumped from line 2 to line 5 when the exception was raised. Now if I change the denominator from 0 to 4, I can run the script and we can see that success, the result is 0.5, is printed to the screen. You will also notice that the code in the except block was never run. The except block can also be used to handle specific exceptions, which we can do by adding the name of the exception after except. For example, here I will say except zero division error, and change the print statement to say you cannot divide by 0. Please try again. And now if I change the denominator back from 4 to 0 and run this script, you'll see that it says you cannot divide by 0, please try again. I can also add multiple except blocks if there are multiple places where I might receive an error. For example, I'm going to set denominator equal to int input, enter a number for the denominator. Then I will say x is equal to 2 divided by the denominator, and underneath that print the formatted string of success, the result is x. This code could potentially raise two exceptions. Firstly, the zero division error as we saw earlier, but also a value error in the first line. To handle that, I will say except value error underneath the zero division error exception handling and say print please enter a number. I can now save and run the script, and you will see that if I enter 0 as the denominator, it tells me I cannot divide by 0. If I enter some letters, you'll see that it tells me to please enter a number. And finally, if I cooperate and put a number, you will see that the success print statement was called and both of the exceptions were skipped. The try except block actually has another optional part, which is finally. The code in here runs after the try and except block run, regardless of whether an exception was raised or not. This would be useful, for example, if we wanted to edit a file, which we would need to close whether we edited it successfully or not. I will quickly add some logic inside the finally block so that you can see it in action. And if I run the script now, you'll see that we are asked for a denominator. If I cooperate, it says success, and then the finally block runs. If I don't cooperate, it raises the exception and the finally block still runs. Just before we wrap up, let's go back to our script where we asked for a person's name, age, and favorite color, and edit it to stop the user from entering an invalid age. This was in input.py, so open it up, and just for the sake of simplicity, I will remove the infinite loop. We want the user to only enter a number for the age, and to do that, I will say while true, try setting age equal to int of input, enter your age. And if that is successful, then break out of the loop. Now we need to handle the exception, so I will say except value error, print please enter a number. Now when I save and run the script of python input.py, we are asked for a name, and then if I enter an invalid age, you'll see that it tells me to please enter a number. Once I do, it will accept it, I can enter my favorite color, and the script will finish successfully without raising any errors. That's the end of this tutorial. In the next one, we will look at how to use external libraries in Python. If you found this helpful, remember to hit like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.